Hey guys, welcome to Sunday Money. And this, we're going to be back to our regular scheduled programming here. I got my two friends back, Daryl.
Hey, man.
And new mommy is in the house, Lauren Fox.
What's up?
With baby. Baby's in the corner.
Poppy is here.
Baby is in the corner.
She, and I'm just saying that because you're here, like, I don't think babies are very cute. Your baby is adorable.
Thank you.
Like,
She wasn't cute when she came out, I'm going to be honest.
Kind of gooey
She
and
looked
purple.
like an alien.
Yeah.
We were scared.
well,
I
babies
was
still
like,
do.
She looks like her dad.
They usually look like old men when they're born, but your baby looks very much like a girl. It's a girl baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
She
don't have to
doesn't
put a
have
bow
much-
on the head, you
Okay,
know?
good. That's what I've been worried about. She didn't have as much hair as I was
She
thinking.
is so cute.
Thanks, guys.
You know what else is cute? Hercules tires. They're still giving away one free set of tires every month, guys. So go on there, Hercules Tire, sorry, .com/MRN to get that free set of tires.
Yeah, and people are winning.
Yeah, people are winning. I don't know who they are, but I can promise you they're very happy with their new tires.
I would love a new set of tires. I'm going to have to hit them up for all this love we're giving them. I might need a set of tires by the end of the year.
Well, you can go to HerculesTire.com/MRN and register to win some.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm
are we
going to register.
eligible?
I don't know. I'm going to have my friends do it just in case I'm not eligible, but
Yeah, that's a
I
good
need a
idea.
good set of tires. They make good tires. It just seems like a win-win.
Okay.
So we've had a couple guests on with Joseph last 2 weeks ago, and then my dad. And you know, I think when we first started this, we didn't really want it to turn into a to guest podcast, but I got some good feedback. Had a lot of fun with my dad on there. It's not very often you get to talk on audio.
Did
with
he have
your own
fun?
man? Dad did have fun. He asked me probably 4 times what the feedback was from this interview. So it was a lot of fun.
5-star review.
Got a lot of 5-star reviews.
Well, why do we have pens here? We have nothing to write
just in
down.
case, and just in case we got some pens to write some notes, which we don't ever take because we always just talk
We
about.
just wing it.
Did
we
you
literally just wing it.
listen to the one with your dad back? Do you feel like you came off like son Corey or man Corey? Like
I didn't listen to it back. I was here, so I
Oh.
remember, but I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. I'm sure you listened to it, correct?
I could tell there's a big Rand and his reputation's in the room, but you did a good job. I mean, it was interesting to hear you get to talk to your dad. I thought it was cool. And you know what? You'll have that forever.
Yeah, right. Like I was thinking the week leading up to that, like what would Dale Jr. give, right, to have an hour on the record talking to his old man?
Yeah.
So I think that was just pretty cool opportunity to have that a lot of people don't get to have, whether it be Chase talking to Bill, right? I'm sure that they would love to do that one day.
Do you think they talk? I don't think they ever talk.
I don't know. They might not.
That's a Thanksgiving relationship.
It's probably just like, good job, Chase. Thanks, Pop.
Oh, was a race today? Oh, okay.
No, he's there. I saw Bill at Darlington this
I
weekend.
see him all the time too. He's
Yeah.
always walking around. I think he's got to be probably really proud, but I know for a fact there's a complicated.
Dynamic
Yes.
there. Well, it's just,
Part of
you're
it.
raised up underneath Bill Elliott, man. It's big shoes to fill. So,
yeah.
so that leads us into Darlington this weekend.
Throwback Weekend.
Lauren was there.
Yeah, she was there.
You were at the race.
I got Andrew a hot pass last minute, hooked them up because
Thank
we're
you.
buddies.
So he came over and had a beer with me, and I was excited to see him because it's Andrew. And I say, Andrew, oh my God, say hi to Lauren. She's here.
Yeah.
No. But then it started, our plan was to come back out so I could see you, but
Yeah.
then the weather happened.
And the baby was there, yeah?
No.
No, okay, no baby. Just you and Andrew.
Yeah, we left her home.
Okay.
It was still warming up. Yeah, it hadn't even been out of the
Yeah.
hadn't been out of the womb for 48 hours at that point.
If you have a
Right.
baby and your baby's like Poppy, I could have a
good
Poppy.
baby.
That's a good baby.
She's a very good baby.
She's just sitting there.
Knock
Yeah.
on wood.
Yep. She's going to get bad now.
Well, I do want to hear all about the baby, having the baby, or Darlington. Which would you guys want to talk about first? Because we got to hear what happened in this whole delivery.
I think we should start with racing.
Okay, let's get into Darlington.
Let me mentally prepare myself to relive what I experienced.
The week of trauma. Darlington, great racetrack. You got to race there. What happened?
Yeah. Well, I could do a short recap of my night.
Okay.
We had a decent car in practice. Qualified 27th. Riding around. The track changed a lot because all the rubber was washed off from the Xfinity race, so that kind of messed our balance up. We were a little bit tighter than we expected to be.
It washed away.
Worst it all off the racetrack. So it was a big balance shift. So then we got to going, and about halfway through the second stage is when Daniel Suarez spun out Ryan Newman, which we can get to here later. That was Poppy, if you didn't hear that.
There's the baby.
There's baby in the room. And then Ryan Newman was driving like Ryan Newman
Mm-hmm.
times 2. He was hitting everything on the way up through the field, and I was the next victim. He got a little tight off turn 2 as I was outside, and he kind of jammed us into the fence. Got a little damage, and then cut a right rear tire down shortly thereafter. Hit the wall, and then I was going to have to limp all the way around the racetrack, and I spun out. May or may not have been on purpose, because I figured that if I limped it around, I was going to lose about 4 laps. I figured.
But if there's a caution,
you only lose about 2. So I lost it.
Clint Boyer in the flesh.
No,
Yeah.
that was different. That was different.
That was different.
That was a racing deal.
Yeah, that was race. No, that was not. That was a stage thing for people to make the playoffs.
But it needs to happen again.
But this is where it bit me in the ass.
Yeah.
So I spun out, and all the excess rubber from the blown tire wrapped around the rear end housing, and it cut the brake line. So instead of losing 2 laps, I lost 32 laps. We had to go behind the wall and fix the damn brake line. So stupid me spun it out. I guess in hindsight, I should have just drove it to pit road and put a tire on it and fixed it. But we didn't. And then we rode around a bunch of laps down the rest of the day. So that sucked.
Did you finish last?
No, I finished, 4th from last, 35th.
You're not the last.
Yeah, finishing last sucks.
Yeah.
So we did not finish last.
But your car looked good.
It looked really cool.
And your
It was a good
sponsor was
paint
like,
scheme.
we'll play along, you know?
No, so CorvetteParts.net was on it. They always buy in
Yeah.
to the throwback schemes
Yeah.
every year. So they've had the 32 cars always had some awesome schemes. And this year we chose to do the Nestle Crunch Dale Jarrett scheme. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And they nailed it with just the design.
Yeah.
It was, the numbers were the exact same.
Mhm.
The colors were the exact same. And
But-
they actually changed their logo to make
Well,
it
that's
look
what I
like
was
the
going to
Nestle
say.
Crunch.
A lot of brands wouldn't be willing to adjust
Yeah.
their logo. Some are really crazy about that stuff.
Yeah.
And they did. And then you think about some of the other teams didn't even participate.
No, like the Ford didn't, for example, your Bush, they have the great opportunity to there's so many cool 4 cars back in history, and
Yeah.
they do a big buck hunter scheme, which great game, by the way.
Good looking race car.
It
was a pretty nice looking race car.
I don't know about all that. It's too busy.
It was my last Bush race of the year, and a throwback would have been cool, but the big buck hunter thing. Last time we were here, did I tell you I shot the commercial with him for Big Buck Hunter?
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
We got to play video games together.
Wow.
And it turns out I'm not good at virtual hunting or regular hunting.
You don't look like the guy that can wield a gun.
Well, it's a fun game, and they did a partnership, so it was a good thing. But for some reason, Clint Boyer came to the appearance. So Clint Boyer comes out first. You have all these Bush fans. Everybody's all Kevin Harvick'd out, and Clint just comes sauntering up, and he gets on stage, and you can't really interview him because he's
All over the place.
yeah. And so he did great. So he took about 10 minutes, and people were real excited, and he talked about being Clint Boyer. And then Kevin Harvick came out, and the clouds are getting darker and darker and darker. And I'm looking at all the corporate people that usually give me the sign language to like wrap it up. And we're getting through the interview, and then like raindrop, drop top, rain. And it just starts pouring, and Kevin just zips out of there. So he finished his interview as the storm started.
Ugh.
And then I was wondering about you guys. Like, I was thinking, I hope they don't finish the race today at 2 a.m. That would be tough.
And coincidentally, it finished right at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Jesus. But when I got out, the first time I looked at my phone was 1:56. It was probably 5 minutes after the race ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow.
It's late.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's still thousands of people in the
There was
grandstand.
tons of people that stuck around.
Yeah, so thank you guys, everybody who stuck around and stuck it out with us. Daryl and I, both Bubba and I, beat the dead horse of throwing the football back into the crowd. I don't know if you saw
You
that.
did
Yep.
it again. I was going to ask.
Now,
What else do they
it's
have to
kind of
do?
played out. Right, I texted them. I said, what are we going to do? Sit in the bus and watch. I watched The Office all day is what I did. I
Yep.
turned on The Office and watched it. But I was like, Daryl, let's just go throw a football. Right? Like, I don't want to be known as the football throwing guy, but it's fun and
You
it
have
gets the
fans
people.
sitting out there that
Sitting there.
they got poured on.
Thousands of people were still like getting poured. It's still raining when we went out there. So we just put on some clothes and went out there and threw the football. But
Might as well.
NASCAR kicked us off.
What?
They
For
come
jet
at,
drying?
They come. Yeah, they come.
Oh.
No, like whenever the jet dryers would come, we'd back up, right?
Oh.
Because I don't want to get blown over by a jet dryer.
Right.
Although that would go viral.
That would if I caught up, just blew my feet from underneath
You
of me.
think you got pressed throwing a football, you get knocked over by a jet dryer. You're going to
I'm
be
smart enough to get the hell out of the way of that jet dryer. So, but we're about 3/4 of the way down the front stretch, and the guy told from NASCAR said, "Come on, you're
It's
done."
enough.
Why?
Well,
What else you got to do?
go racing. They're trying to get it all ready for you.
There
to
was
go to
still an
work.
hour and a half. I still had thousands of people to to appeal to, because it was funny that Daryl couldn't throw it to the top deck. So Daryl was throwing it to the bottom crowd, and then I was launching it up into the top crowd. So I had the top covered, Daryl had the bottom covered.
Look at you. How long, Lauren, you were there with your husband. How long, like, what was your experience? Did you guys make it? Did you stay?
We left at 7:30.
You gave up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them actually when they were leaving the tunnel.
Yeah.
They're out of there. See you
Bye.
later.
I know. Andrew wanted to stay,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it was just like,
it's too
how
much.
long do you stay here? And then, like, at what point are they going to call it?
Right.
And,
It was close for them to it was really close for them to call it.
yeah, I'm glad they didn't, though, because
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it was cool to see all those fans in the stands.
I don't know. I would have rather raced in the day, slip and slide around, because you wouldn't have seen the bottom be so relevant in the race if we would have been in the day. I think it would have been a little bit more.
Maybe we just should have started it earlier on Sunday.
Well, yeah. I wish that was a day race, because day races at Darlington, as we saw in the Xfinity race, just bred for some good racing.
Oh, yeah. Interesting weekend for Gibbs.
Yeah. So
Well,
Denny Hamlin wrecked his primary car in the Xfinity race. He had, 2 laps on his backup car. Sure enough, started from the back, won the race.
Yep.
He actually put on a driving clinic. He did a really good job. He's really good at Darlington.
Yeah.
His average finish was 2.7 in the Xfinity series.
I didn't know that.
That's really good. And it was going to be even better than that if they would have credited him for first, obviously. But he got credited for last.
I said it. I said, keep an eye on Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's the giant is woken up, but then they took it away.
Well, the same thing they did with Ross Chastain at Iowa, right? The car didn't meet post-race heights, and which I think all of us in the industry agree that that's probably not the best rule, but it is a rule at the end of the day. Whether they change it or not, or if it's applicable or not, it's a rule. So it was too low, and there's just the way when people, it's not their blatant. So I guess I can try to explain it.
Does it really give you an advantage?
They're not trying to blatantly cheat, right? So the front end geometry of those things, they use these really big springs in the front, and they call them pigtail springs. So it actually it doesn't grab the whole bottom of the spring. It actually just grabs the end of the spring, and it makes it think that it has no spring in the front, so the car gets lower. Doesn't have as much force pushing it back up, right?
Pigtails.
So they're pigtails, right?
That's cute.
Just like
If we were
Lauren
on
wears
Jeopardy,
sometimes.
we wouldn't be able to answer any questions because this is all Corey speak.
So
he would win
it's
this
not,
category.
So out of everybody in the top 10, I bet you 8 out of the 10 cars have the same setup in the front, but they weren't under the scrutiny of the heights. So I guess in the Xfinity series, they do allow you to pick the car up, right, and kind of shake it and get it to heights, and it still didn't meet heights. So they gave him a lot of chances to roll through, and there's different ways you can get the car to come back up, whether it's shocks or put a little more spring rate in the thing to get it up, but they didn't, and they couldn't get it up, and they failed tech. But the Cup Series doesn't have that rule because there is no height.
Sure.
So there's on the ground. But the trucks in Xfinity have it. They think it saves the team's money, which I think, in my opinion, it costs the team's money, but that's a different topic. But so they took the win from him and gave it to Cole Custer, driving the Buckshot Jones car. Kind of rubbed me sour. But I guess on the way to Nebraska, so Buckshot, I guess, called into Claire B. Lang, and Dad's driving 18 hours or whatever, and he's listening to Sirius XM 90. And Claire B. and Buckshot were talking about the rivalry between Dad and Buckshot. And Dad said it wasn't 2 minutes after that Claire B. talked about it, Buckshot called him up on the phone, and they talked about it. I haven't talked to Dad since then because he just got back. So I'm interested to see what their conversation
That's
took like.
funny.
Yeah.
Think about how many years have passed, and there's still like that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
sour feeling.
Yes.
That's what you want.
That'd
right?
be 20. Yeah.
He's still got,
That's crazy. What
Still
is that his name?
eats it.
Buckshot
Roy.
Jones?
Roy's his first name.
Okay.
Buckshot's his nickname.
That's his nickname.
Roy Buckshot Jones.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy. Well, all in all, it was a pretty cool race. It was nice to see so many fans there.
Eric Jones won.
Eric Jones.
Was there any
Yeah.
big talking
That was
points from the race?
random.
Ryan Newman and Daniel Suarez racing really hard for the 16th spot. They're actually, interesting enough, tied going into the last race. They're tied.
That's crazy.
0 points. They're tied for the last transfer spot. So that'll be interesting to watch here at Indy this weekend. I don't love Indy as the cutoff race because Indy doesn't breed good racing for stock cars. But doesn't matter because we're going there anyways.
That's what we got to do, buddy.
Yep. So I don't foresee. I do I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Mm.
But who's your money on for this weekend? Who transfers?
Who has the best pit crew right now? That's the issue with Indy.
Suarez.
Like pit crew is a disaster. Like pit road is a disaster in Indy. That's
So
really the only reason that.
So
it's such a,
Boyer's +8. Newman and Suarez are tied, and Jimmy's +18 maybe.
yeah.
So Jimmy needs a lot of help. So who do you think the 2 in or 2 out are?
Oh man, Jimmy's out.
Jimmy's out. Yeah, I agree.
He didn't make it last year.
No, Jimmy's
Was
out.
that
What
it?
if Jimmy wins? Indy. I mean,
Maybe.
he is the
He
best
is
ever
doing
to do it.
better, it seems like.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
he got
love Suarez.
He was
to-
unrecognizable without his beard this weekend.
Do you think he dyed his hair? I think he did.
Probably.
Like his top hair.
Yes. I think he did.
Hopefully.
He looked like he was 27. He looked like he was
He
my
looks
age.
so, he looks good.
Jimmy
Mm,
Johnson.
mm.
Jimmy
Jim.
Johnson.
Yeah, he was shaved up, ready for battle.
Why do you think some teams don't participate though? Because there were some really cool like deals going on, including the Checkenhouse crew. Like that was cool. And then some teams are just like, no. Besides Bush did a good job.
Well, I think that the companies that sponsor, obviously, they want to keep their brand identity, and they don't want to do it because they don't want to just, I don't know, take brand identity away. Which I could see in that sense it does. But I also think that it's kind of ran its course a little bit. As much as I don't want to say that because I do love the Throwback Weekend at Darlington, it's done it. We've done it for 5 years now, and some of the luster has kind of worn off.
Yeah,
You don't see as many people buying in and doing it.
But now I feel like you're getting to a good era that we're like throwing back to. Like I think the 90s was.
There were some sweet paint schemes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was even an MRN car there.
which is cool. Yeah,
It actually looked really good.
It did look good, and it was nice and slow. I passed that sucker 47 times.
and the MR they had like hats and some shirts.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And then
I like the gold numbers.
you didn't make it out to the Midway, Lauren, but a lot of the displays were playing 90s music, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like instead of you hear AC/DC and Zeppelin and all this
See, I don't.
rock, they were all playing 90s hits. So
I
that
don't
was
love
fun.
though how it's turned into like Halloween.
Yeah.
It's not Halloween.
It is kind of like Halloween. There's people
People-
trick or treating.
People make it like Halloween. I don't agree with that though.
Mm.
It's
like-
supposed to be like a class reunion type feel,
That-
I
Okay.
feel like.
Yeah, but like people were bugging me to shave a Dale Jarrett mustache, right? Like, I don't want to wear a Dale Jarrett mustache, but I do want to pay respect to Dale Jarrett. I almost feel like that's picking fun at Dale if I shave a mustache. Like, I'm not Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
He had his look of a mustache. I got my look of whatever laziness this is, where I want to shave for weeks at a time. So
I saw you on TV.
I got a lot of love for the paint scheme this weekend. Rutledge came and interviewed me for the race. That was cool.
Yeah, but you're at the desk. I saw you at the desk.
Oh,
with
the
Jared.
Peacock pit box. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
he did.
No Sunday Money mentioned though. Surprisingly, when you had all
Yeah.
that attention for your,
What a shame.
I should have.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely dropped the boat
That's
there.
what he always says. I should have
if
done.
it would make you more comfortable to say the Corey LaJoie podcast when you're on TV,
yeah, you
we'll
can
take
call it
that.
that.
No, I'm not going to call it that. Because it's not that. It is Sunday money.
Well, I want to hear.
I had 2 opportunities to do it. Didn't slide it in. I really, like, when I'm in those positions, I'm really just trying to authentically slide in my sponsors, the people that pay for me to go there, to
That's
be
right.
there.
That's
So,
what you should be doing.
I'm
Corey.
sorry that I didn't plug our podcast as much fun and as much attention as we need to have or get. I don't want
We're going to do it on our own, Daryl.
Yep.
We don't need Corey.
2020, you guys can go find Corey LaJoie at the Corey LaJoie podcast, and Sunday Money will be carried on with a driver that gives a shit. We're
Or
gonna
you can go watch Caffeine Not Included.
Brendan Poole, by the way, you haven't seen the last of Brendan Poole. I'm not going to give away any secrets, but the talks are happening, and there's
Oh, yeah?
a lot of
A lot of vape sponsors
A lot of
that
it-
want to
no,
get into the sport.
You know what's crazy? Even they mentioned it with Eric Jones. Like, here he wins the race, and the first question they ask him is like, "How much pressure does this take off talks for next year?" And I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's already signed his deal.
I know, but there's so much like feeling of these drivers are like not even trying to win now; they're just trying to stay alive for another season.
yeah.
Hang on. Okay, so
Oh.
I don't want to talk about that.
But there's
there-
enough. But
Tony just threw something in our ear. I don't want to talk about that. There's some rumors going around, but
you don't want to address it.
no.
But so that's what I mean.
'Cause
Not,
I'm
not
just-
even
I'm-
just your rumor. Like even teams that have already came out and said next year's
Yeah.
settled.
Mm.
Clint Boyer, for another example, like I saw him at the farm show before this race,
Mm.
and we talked about like there's all these drivers that are rumored to be.
So I heard inside source there that that Rush Truck Center loves Clint Boyer, and I also heard that if Rush told Stuart Haas that if they don't sign Clint, they don't sign Rush. That's it. So that if whether or not that's his deal or he brought it to the table, they signed for Tony, but now Clint's their guy. So however much money that deal is, that essentially is Clint's.
If Clint goes away.
Well, I was out there with DeKalb at the Farm Progress show for Clint, and like there's another huge sponsor. Like there's sponsors out there. So these guys, it's not like these guys are living meal to meal, but the way that it's coming out in the press is like everybody's replaceable.
Everybody's replaceable, whether or not you think
but
so.
I don't think anybody's getting replaced at some of these teams.
No, not this year. I think on the top side, it's going to be fairly quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom side, it's always pretty crazy just because money's so hard to get at those places. So if you are toting around a little bit, you are a hot commodity, whether you're Brennan Poole or Corey LaJoie or Matt DiBenedetto, right? It's inevitable, the question.
But
how much money?
Matt's going everywhere talking about it. You're not talking about it at all.
Talking about what?
He's literally going on every place that has a camera and mic and being like, I'm available. I'm going to take this route. I'm going to go here. I'm going to be a race car driver. And you're like, yeah, what?
I hold it loosely. I'm a complete opposite of that because I've not had it. 4 years ago, I was crew chiefing, right? I didn't have a job.
I like him as a crew chief.
I didn't have I don't like it because I worked way harder and didn't get paid near as much.
Didn't get paid as much.
So
can't buy them golden gooses for Kelly.
I'm not gonna say that my life doesn't go on if I don't drive a race car. I hold it loosely. And I honestly feel like God put me to drive a race car to use my platform to do cool stuff.
God wants you to finish 27th every week.
No, he doesn't care about that.
Daryl.
You do not know how that works. But I just think that I hold it loosely. I'm not defined by if I drive a race car or not.
Right.
And
life goes on.
If I'm meant to drive a race car, opportunity will present itself for me to drive a race car.
Which is why Lauren and I treat you like Corey and not Corey the race car driver.
That's right.
You're Corey.
Yeah.
You're our friend Corey, and you also happen to go to work and drive race cars.
By society standards, I'm not a very good race car driver. By looking at race and reference,
great friend.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be back.
I would like to think I'm a good race car driver.
You are a good race. How many times do we have to tell you you're a good race car driver?
We believe in you.
One more.
Corey LaJoie is a good race car driver.
Champ.
No, I don't want to take that.
Okay.
We're going to take a commercial and come back because I want to hear about what it's like to have a baby since Corey and I can't have a baby. Lauren did.
You can. In 2019, you can do anything you want.
That's right. I'm gonna work on this. We're going to hear about the arrival of Poppy when we get back.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away one set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
If you hear squealing and grinding noises from your vehicle, it's time for new brakes. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, when you buy any set of Brake Best pads and any 2 Brake Best rotors, you'll save 10% on your total purchase. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So our friend Lauren had a baby, and not just like a month ago. You had a baby like last week.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks now?
2 weeks ago.
And here you are to visit us. How nice is that?
I know. You do a lot of sitting around at home, and I very much thrive on like normalcy. So this feels like I got up, I got myself dressed, got my baby dressed, came here, and this feels like normal. It makes me feel like a normal human being.
Does that mean that maternity leave is too long since you only need 1 week of maternity leave?
What it means is that this doesn't feel like work to me.
Oh.
Right, guys? This is fun.
Well, listen, so we were real excited. Everybody was wondering when it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I got all these text messages that were like, it's happening.
It's happening.
But that doesn't mean it's actually happening. It means it's starting.
Yeah.
What happens from like the moment you go into labor? Where were you? Who drove you? I need to know a little bit about what happened.
Well, so because I had a big baby, they were thinking she was going to be 8 pounds, and me being 5 foot nothing and fairly small statured, they were a little bit worried about that. I was a little bit worried about that. So we checked into the hospital, as my husband likes to say. He thought that it was just like checking into a hotel, that on the due date, we go. And,
We want to be on the 4th floor, not near the elevator.
yeah. Can we have two full beds, please? So we checked in on the 20th. That was her due date. And they started giving me some meds, to get things going because she wasn't showing any signs of wanting to get out of there.
Okay, so now you're there. They're giving you meds,
Right.
and you're waiting for the first sign that like the meds are working.
Yeah, like I went to the hospital feeling as good as you can at 40 weeks pregnant. I didn't feel nothing. So I felt good. So they started some medicine. There's all kinds of things that have to happen before you can have a baby. So Tuesday, midday, they start it. We go through all that all day Wednesday. And she finally decided to come Thursday about 10 o'clock. So it was a long process. I think altogether from the time that like we got there and they started stuff, it was like 40 hours, I guess.
It's a full work week at the hospital.
It sure was. That's what I was thinking.
And the first time you felt, I don't know what you feel. I never had a baby. You must feel something where it's different than you felt the day before.
Yeah.
What-
You don't feel good.
And it hurts?
Yeah, you don't feel good. They had to give me lots of meds to get her out of there, and
Okay.
when they're giving you all that stuff, you don't feel good. So, yeah, you get all the contractions.
And was Andrew like there the whole
He
time?
was there. He stayed there the whole time.
Did you get to scream? You always see in the movies the wives are like, "I hate you," and they're throwing stuff at. Did you get to yell at them?
No, I didn't. I didn't get too fussy the whole time, really.
Okay.
There was one time that I yelled out an expletive, after I'd been pushing for a little bit.
Which one?
The F one.
Okay.
Yep, that's all I shouted. Oh, F.
Freak.
Oh, freak. And then not long after she came out, I think that was all we were
That's
waiting on.
That's what it took.
That's what it took.
How much of a relief is it to get a little human out of your body?
I thought it was going to be a lot more relieving, but then they just keep working on you. I was like, can I have a minute? Like, just one.
Yeah.
This is a dumb question, but that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Is it at all comparable to like Thanksgiving after you eat and eat and eat, and then the first time you get to go to the restroom? Excuse me. Is there any of that? Does it feel like, oh, okay, this thing I feel good. Now I can go for a walk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you feel a lot lighter.
So you instantly.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Within the first couple hours.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. It's you lose all your dignity. I'll just say that. My poor husband saw more
Of you than
of
he
me
ever
than
signed
he
up for.
ever wanted to.
Scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the worst pain you've ever felt. Where were we at?
It was a 10.
So
For sure.
it is
Maybe
crazy.
even on 11.
Wow.
Yep. I tried to do the epidural thing. Those didn't work. So
So you did it.
I had to feel the whole thing pretty
Wow.
much. Pretty much.
So was Andrew a North Pole or a South Pole guy?
Well, so he stayed. I had
Good question.
Andrew on this side, my mom on this side.
Mhm.
They were, you got to hold your legs up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I looked like a turkey over there with my legs pulled up by my shoulders.
Like a wishbone. But can you see
Like
what's
a
going on? If
turkey.
you want, you can watch, right?
Yeah. Well, if you want, they'll put up a mirror. And so after I pushed for 2 or so hours, they were like, maybe we should get a mirror so you can see what's happening and see that you actually are making progress. So they
Oh
put
my
up
God.
this giant mirror like you'd see in the Target dressing room.
And you're literally watching Poppy.
I could see it. They were like, keep your eyes open. I was like, I don't want to.
So
That's an angle of myself I've never wanted to see.
Yep.
that's the first part of the story I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to hear. Now tell me the next part of the story that I want to know is from the ride home from the hospital. So now you have the baby. They're like, thanks for
Bye.
coming. Bye. We'll
Good
see
luck.
you later. You guys are in the car on the way home. You have a baby.
Yeah, we have a baby. And it started monsooning as soon as we left. Pretty much as soon as we got on the interstate, the sky opened up. And
Okay.
Yeah. So Andrew was driving
said
with
he
his
had
hazards
hazards
on. He probably would have been doing that even if we did it, even if it wasn't raining.
But even more so, now he has a
Definitely.
newborn child
He's got a
in his
new
car.
baby. And I
First-
got to sit in the back, so
Yeah,
he's
you're-
like chauffeuring
So,
us home.
so I'm not digressing, but so I spent a little bit of time with Dale Jr. on Thursday night.
And
whenever-
back to racing
no,
we go.
No.
no. We're talking about
Listen,
talking about
this is good
kids
stuff.
kids and stuff, and we're sitting there talking, and we're talking about raising kids or whatever, and he was like, yeah, when you go to the hospital, right, and you drive, like you're surrounded, and just like you got people that take care of you, looking at heartbeats and the whole
Right.
nine, and you get home and it's just you and your wife.
Yep.
Open the door and
And
like,
Gus.
oh no. They left us alone with this thing. Like we are in charge of keeping this little thing alive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like what's going on?
That first night, do you check on the baby over and over and over and over?
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
listening to like hear
well,
it
so I
breathe?
had her like Thursday morning, and then Friday, I thought we wouldn't go home till Saturday, but they said to me Friday morning, like, I said, I was like, is the plan for me to go home tomorrow morning? They're like, well, you could go home today if you wanted. And I was like, okay, like I want to get home and get in my own shower and use my own bathroom. And so we went home. And then as soon as we got home, I was like, oh shit, we should have stayed. Oh God, what do I do? And like at that point, our families had been over and, so I was like, okay, let's just have like some quiet time, us. And then it was like the middle of the night and I was like, oh God, what if she stops breathing or all of these crazy things? And babies do weird stuff, I tell you what.
They make noises too, right?
They make scary little noises. Yeah, she sounds like a little cat.
And then right when Corey walked in today, she was just like opening her eyes, but I think she was still asleep. She kind of looked like a little zombie for a minute.
Yeah, she rolls her eyes in the back of her head. It's real creepy.
Yeah, for like the first little bit, they don't really know what the heck they're looking at. They're just kind of like, oh, light.
She's
I've
got
never seen
crazy
light
eyes. Like they can't necessarily our eyes move together, but theirs don't. So hers get like cross-eyed in the middle. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah, she's adorable. You're gonna be a good mom.
Yeah, this is gonna be exciting. And she's already going to work with mom. This is amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna teach her how to podcast. And
she's
everything.
gonna be on our podcast when she can talk. And she'll probably talk in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, she's very advanced. Very advanced.
That's awesome. Well, Corey did spend some time with Dale Jr. And actually, I do want to hear about it because I was very uncomfortable with he raced this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I was really uncomfortable personally with how the media talked to him.
I
thought some of those questions were really inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah,
so we'll take a break,
yeah.
come back, and I want to get you guys' opinion.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where you can earn bonus points on more than 250 offers. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store today or browse through our offers at O'ReillyAuto.com, where you can earn double points shopping online. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away one set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
So, so Dale got in a plane crash. Everybody saw that. That was crazy. By the way, Twitter, that was a bizarre 24 hours. It was insane how far that story went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
they went worldwide.
Andy Cohen was tweeting about, all these famous people that I didn't really even know knew.
I turned on the Today Show, that was Thursday. I turned it on Friday morning, and that was their opening story.
Mm-hmm.
And so he took the weekend off. Thank goodness everybody was okay. And then there was a little statement that came out from the family that was just everybody just calm down. We need to chill. This was crazy. And then he came back to race. And then he was at the racetrack to race this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the media, there's all the same. It's all the same people, right? Almost every single media person knows each other except for the Jacksonville Gazette or whoever. Mm-hmm. So really, I think since they all know each other, they should just pick one person, like Claire, just ask one question about the crash. Every single person asked a different version of a plane crash question. Mm-hmm. I don't know him as a best friend, but I could tell it was enough.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about that.
So they kept asking. One person would be like, "What were your thoughts after the crash?" And the next person would be like, "After the crash, were you feeling like?" And then they just kept going down the line. I'm like, "This is not appropriate." I don't know. Was I off? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable asking somebody about something like that.
Well, just keep bringing up those thoughts that. I mean, that's probably like we were talking on the break. That was probably the most traumatic moment in his life.
Yeah,
and he's had some traumatic moments,
sure.
prior in his life. So why bring that up? The guy's about to do a job to drive a race car at 180 miles an hour.
Right.
Let the guy concentrate a little bit. Don't swarm him and ask him. Bring up stuff from 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm paraphrasing, but it was literally one of the questions was was it worse knowing your daughter and wife were with you in the plane?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was bad.
And of course, he handled it well. But then you said you saw him.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank God all those guys are okay, right? There's not many people that can say they walked away
from a plane crash.
So I drove the bus down there Thursday, got down there early, got it all set up and parked. I had my bike and I was cruising around. I made about 4 or 5 laps around Darlington. Now my bike tires are worn out. And Dale Jr. had this whole thing set up with the Dale Jr. Foundation. They had like a cup car with a right side seat in it and a couple sets of tires, and they were giving rides. Dale was driving, giving people rides to people who donate to the foundation. So I was riding and got to talking with him, right? And there's a lot of people there, and we talked 4 or 5 minutes, and I just rode on back, right? So later in the night, I was sitting there in the bus, figured he was sitting there in the bus by himself at about 9:30. Text him, hey, man, you want to grab a beer? Yeah, sure, come on over. So cruise over there. We sat and shot.
He didn't
want
to come to your bus?
His bus is way nicer than my bus. Like that, his bus is sweet. So we sat there and just shot the shit for about 2 hours. You know, and a lot of stuff off the record, right? You know, there's just a lot of stuff we talked about, racing or family stuff, or you know, his opinions on things. It was really neat to hear. You know, because I'm sure he doesn't get to talk like how he actually thinks most of the time. Just his opinion, just because he is in the media, right? He's on the broadcast. He can't actually say some things he thinks about. And we obviously talked about a little bit about plane crash. I'm not going to pester about it because I can read the same stuff than anybody else can. But you know, I told him, damn glad he's okay. And he just said he was scared shitless. You know, like it was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine. So, but then obviously we talked about a lot of racing stuff and just how to maneuver this whole thing. Yeah, and he just says he's never been in my position, right? But he offered me some pointers from his point of view, whether what he sees and some stuff to keep doing right or change up a little bit. And it's good stuff. So
did he seem optimistic or pessimistic on the state?
Very optimistic.
That's good.
So he sees it from a broadcast standpoint now. And overall, it's trending the right way. I mean, there's going to be a lot of really good improvements over the next 2 or 3 years, whether it be a schedule or the new car. There's lots of positives for NASCAR. And then when you see Darlington sold out, it really is cool, and it really just justifies it. So, yeah, I think, and the amount of clout that guy brings, dude, there was thousands of people there. Like when he was
just to see him,
it was
like at the Xfinity race,
unbelievable. Like we, a bunch of us were sitting towards turn 4 watching the race.
You were in the stands?
Yeah.
Look at you.
And
a man of the people.
And
the People's Champ.
Well, for the record, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse are up there as well. So give them some love. And then, so anytime Dale Jr. would pass a car, whether it be a lap car, whether it be guy for 7th place, Brandon Jones or whoever, the place would go like he's winning the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
It was nuts. And that just goes to show how much weight that guy brings to the sport. People love Dale Jr. I love the fact that he drives in a Xfinity race a year. That's pretty cool. And
Poppy
he ran
loves
well.
Dale Jr.
He ran awesome. He ran 6th, ended up finishing 5th.
They said that he was the highest finishing junior motorsports
Yeah,
car.
he was. Algar was fast. He kept driving into the fence. And then the other 2 guys, not so much. So he did a good job. And Darlington is a hard track to come back to. So kudos to Dale Jr.
Cool.
And what he does for the sport off and on the racetrack is pretty dang cool.
Did you, in your 2-hour plus conversation, tell him, hey, I have a podcast as well, Dale Jr., just like you. I'm just like you.
No,
but
he
didn't come up.
He did say that there's some stuff in his contract where NBC can produce. They have to produce 2 on air, and his is one, and he doesn't have a second one yet. So I told him throw my name in the hat for a televised podcast.
Oh,
Look at that. I mean, hey,
but
it could be the Corey LaJoie podcast.
No, the Corey LaJoie download. No,
I knew it.
I honestly
knew it.
He, I think I would say a guy like Clint Boyer or somebody get that nod, because who wouldn't want to hear that guy ramble on for 2 hours about nothing?
At least for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
then
that
after
would get old. Yeah, but no, Dale is just he really is a great guy. And you both have talked to him. Like he really, when he's talking to you, he makes you feel like he's paying attention, because he is.
He always stops and says hello, even when there's like not people around. He'll always stop. He's always very real, which is nice.
There's not many people like Dale in the sport, and obviously the fans can gravitate to that. So that was pretty cool. Got to spend some time with him. That was really the most time that we've spent talking ever. I'm actually headed that way now to drop off that old.
Corey's got a new friend.
That old seat.
So sweet.
I built an old seat for. I think I talked about it on the show. He's restoring one of his dad's old cars.
Yeah.
Old Nova, and he commissioned me to build a seat for it.
Wow.
Like to make it the replica of exactly what his old man had.
Are you nervous to give it to him?
I mean, no.
Oh.
No, because
Do you know it's good?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Like, because I had some pictures of him sitting in the seat when he was probably 9 years old, and it looks exactly the same.
Look at you.
So
You're like an antique roadshow, like just recreating the
I
past.
am like the You Pick It. Or what's
The
that show?
American
American
Pickers.
Pickers. That's me when it comes to race seats. So
Well, very good. We do have some cool reviews. Do you guys want to get to reviews? I guess,
no.
right? Unless there's anything else we wanted to touch on.
the only thing I really want to touch on current event stuff is how Kanye West is like trying to be a pastor almost.
Well, he's got a new album coming out, and
Over to the Kanye West expert here.
Kanye West, the
Daryl.
American entrepreneur.
He's wearing his shoes as we speak.
Yep.
So he has he's been doing this church service thing out in Calabasas, but now he's taking it on the road and going to different cities with it, and they've done some charity stuff in Ohio and wherever, and I guess people just show up, and it's pretty star-studded, but then the rest is all regular people. Brad Pitt showed up this week,
Saw that. I was reading that on the way over here.
which is very cool. Like, these are big celebrities, and it's just a church service. They
I mean, I
sing
wonder if
songs
it's
and-
genuine. Like,
Yeah,
It
what's
doesn't
the
seem-
content of it?
well, I
Is
I
it
think,
just music?
I think it's just music, and they
Yeah.
take
'Cause that's
some.
a concert.
And they've
That's not
taken
church.
they've taken well-known songs and changed the words. I guess
to
sicko mode.
spiritual, yep.
Yeah, and they changed some stuff
Oh.
to like glory, glory, hallelujah or something. So I don't know if it's genuine or it's just a new niche that he's trying to fill to make some more money.
Well, they all, they're promoting it and stuff, and his new record is going to be a gospel record.
Isn't it like
which
Christ is
crazy.
King or something? What's the label? What's it
He
called?
is Jesus, like that's his but maybe this
But-
is something that's on.
No, I don't
he's-
think that he's talking about himself in this
No, it's
context.
just like religious songs that he wants to share with the world. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I
Would-
don't know. People are if it's getting more people to,
Hey,
to
if it
Christ, this is a good thing, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
If it gets a guy
Hopefully,
like you,
it's like genuine. Though.
who if it gets a guy like you who, if Kanye makes Jesus cool, then
make
then
Jesus
have-
cool
Make
again.
Jesus-
make Jesus cool again. And if it takes Kanye West to do that, hey, I mean that's whatever. It doesn't matter,
What do you
right?
think all the stuff celebrities get in the news for? I mean, I'll take it. This is a positive thing to be in
Yes.
the news for. Kevin Hart's in the news for crashing a classic
Dude.
car.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, he wasn't even driving.
well, I mean, he's in a bad car crash.
So
and
he just got that for his birthday. I think he bought that for himself for 40th birthday.
it's like a 72 what? Something?
72 Plymouth Barracuda. It
What-
was so sick, and it had one of those Hellcat motors in it with 700 horsepower.
Oh,
And his buddy was driving it. Rutledge and I were talking about it before the broadcast there, and apparently he just goosed all 700 horsepower and couldn't
Zip.
handle it and spun the tires and went off and flipped, and it broke Kevin Hart's back. I don't know about the other guy. Hopefully
Yeah,
he's
do
okay.
we know like if he's
The
going to be?
Yeah, I guess he's gonna be okay.
that's
Oh,
crazy though.
okay.
So
It's crazy.
You got to have a professional driver show you around in those classic cars, guys.
Well, so the new cars that have 700 horsepower, they have traction control.
Not
Right.
the old timies.
The old stuff, 700 horsepower, contrary to what you might think, is a lot of power.
Mm.
And it probably just broke the tires right loose and into down a embankment they went, and the
Ooh.
car was jacked up. So
yeah, I saw the
they're lucky
pictures.
they didn't die. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I mean, that would suck. So
That's crazy, but like
be
that's
careful.
I don't know, and all you guys have crazy cars. Well, you have a normal car,
mhm.
but a lot of the drivers have these cars that are just not for the highway.
Yeah.
You know, little Poppy.
Hey, Poppy.
Poppy's like, get to the reviews. I'm hungry.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna read a couple reviews and send her on out.
By the way, thank you for all the reviews. We've seen them. We read them. We were still cruising along. People like it.
Yeah,
Mm.
and just so y'all, just so
Why
y'all
does
don't,
everybody thinks Corey it sounds like Cal Naughton Jr.? That's
I'll
what all
take
the
that.
reviews keep saying.
I like Cal Naughton. But just so y'all don't think we have a baby stuck in the corner and we're not paying attention to her, Lauren's sister is
sister's here.
taking care of her. So
my
Auntie.
nanny.
Auntie
my
is
nanny
here.
thank
auntie.
you, Addison. So I will read one here by Camden Burmester. 5 stars, thank you. This is the best podcast. This is the best podcast out in the NASCAR world. You learn cool behind the scenes things every episode. However, I think Corey should either make it a daily podcast Monday through Friday,
Ooh.
or focus on putting the correct tracking numbers and the items ordered off his website.
Ooh, a little burn.
Ooh, well, I do that, and I don't do that, so I need to do a better job of that. Sorry, and thanks for buying some swag, I guess. I haven't seen his name pop up, so I will go back and look.
Okay.
That's a nice.
That's a
review.
good
And
way
it
to
says-
get Corey's attention.
Yeah, it is. I didn't read that before that, so I will have to address that. Thanks.
But you know what's cool? A lot of the reviews say this is the best. They're not just saying it's good. They're like, this is the best. Thank you guys.
I
That's
believe
good.
it.
Mm-hmm. Read your. Do you have one picked out? Lauren?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll just read a little bit of this one. I like when people spell your name LaJoie, LaJoy.
Yeah.
LaJoie. I've always been a LaJoie fan, even back in the day. My go-kart number was 74, and I always pulled for that blue. What's Finna?
Fina is an
Fina.
oil company.
Oh, okay. Like, what?
Close.
Anyways, yada, yada, yada. They love our opinions. And for the record, Sunday Money is greater than Glass Case of Emotion.
Ooh, hot take.
Boom. Give us one more, Corey.
I had a good one popped up here. Right here. So, hang on. Oh, yeah. Loving the Podcast by Jay Wokes. I found the podcast after the Samaritan's Feet charity drive at Watkins Glen.
Nice.
Much more entertaining than the other podcast, The Shoebox of Feelings.
Nice.
Definitely worth a listen. So thanks. Leave your 5-star reviews and a review and a 5-star rating and a review, and we'll probably try to read you next week.
Well, that's
Thanks.
perfect, man.
And we don't have enough content for me to do something Monday through Friday.
No, maybe we'll do a 3-day a week or something.
No,
That'd
still
be
too
good.
much. I like 1 day a week.
1 day a week.
It's perfect.
Well, there's Poppy making
Here's
her
Poppy.
appearance.
There's Poppy.
Look,
Oh my gosh.
famous Lion Kinger.
She's adorable.
We
We want to thank you guys for tuning in each week.
Yeah.
Tell your friends, keep writing reviews, and we'll be back again. We'll do this again. I don't know, Lauren, you're always welcome, but obviously you got a lot going on.
I'll
so
make a few appearances.
very cool, and thanks for listening, guys. Sunday Money.